How did the story begin?
Yeah, it was actually have something to do with my first feature, Detention. Because as you know, Detention was my first feature, which is a horror film. It's a psycho horror film and also a historical drama, which is super serious.
Yes.
But most of my previous work when I was making short films are mostly comedy. So it's really difficult for me not to make fun of anything when I'm making a movie. So it was like the whole process when we were making Detention with Gingle, it was like such an intense experience for both of us. And I remember not wanting to see any movie after making Detention for a while. And there's one day my producer was like dragged me to a premiere event for another horror film. And as someone who grew up as a horror films audience, I usually, it's really hard for me to be scared by any horror film. So whenever I'm watching horror film, I was like distracted or falling asleep or like noticing something else. And suddenly there was one scene I remember that there was a female ghost with long hair covering her face, and she was like crawling in a toilet, in a public toilet, which is super dirty, and it's covered with dirt and dust and shit, and she was just like trying so hard to twist her arms and body just to scare me as the audience, but I'm not scared. So I suddenly feel super sad because it's like an effortless effort. It's like you know that it's fruitless, but she's still doing it. She's still doing like everything trying to scare me, and I was like thinking in my mind saying something like, okay, you can stop. I know you're trying really hard. I know how hard it is, but you can stop here. Then I think I was crying watching that scene. Because it was so fruitless, but she was like putting so much effort. And that gave me the idea of like, I remember that after that premiere, my producer and I was like smoking outside the cinema, and I was like, let's make a film about ghosts trying to scare people. It's like the opposite of horror films, like Monster Inc. Yeah. And that's it. That's where the idea comes from.
I mean, there's so much heart in the movie, though. That's what I love about it. You appreciate not all the work that goes into a scare, but in a way, it also just makes you appreciate all the collaborators in any production. And so, Jingle, I want to hear from you in terms of like what was your collaborative process like with John, in terms of just planning your killer moves, for instance.
Because we've known each other for like years. Because Detention is one of my, it's a film that's really important for me. And yeah, so after a few years work with John again, it makes me feel kind of awkward. Because we're so close to each other. It's like acting in front of your brother or your father. Like, hey, am I better right now? Better than Detention? Or am I like even worse? I don't know. So yeah, so every day and every scene, I feel like I just want to do my best. It's just like in a movie. Like I just want to be seen. I just want to see the best. You see the best version of me. And I just want you to see the best version of me. So yeah, I don't know. I still don't know what am I talking about right now. And I want to say thank you so much. Thank you so much that your reaction and your laughter, I don't know, it means a lot to me. Thank you so much.
But who came up with this, like this choreography?
I think that's
His
from
idea,
me.
I don't know.
Sometimes she's just imitating me. Like the awkward poses and the way she talked and the way she was like crawling her back. That's pretty much me. So whenever she said that she don't know what to do, she was just like doing my impersonation.
My job is to observe John on the set. Like he's the hey there, right? What's her name?
Sometimes it's called you there, sometimes it's hey there, sometimes it's the new girl.
Okay, so
We just don't mention her name.
yeah, so I feel like he's like a guy version of the character. So I just like observe. I look at him every day. I feel like wait, I just want to be you. Yeah.
So you relate to the main character, John? Is that which?
Yeah, I think that the main character is like the combination between me and Gingle, because after detention, everything suddenly exploded for us. It's like we didn't know what we did, because detention was my first feature, and it was probably the biggest production for her at that time.
So it's like you had just jumped off the Lucky Hotel.
Yes.
And splattered.
and we have no idea what we did, and we got hurt, and we got what is it called? What was that syndrome?
PTSD.
PTSD is one of them. It was such a trauma. Yeah. Imposter syndrome. Yeah. We both were suffering from imposter syndrome for such a long time, and so when I talked to Gingle about this character, it's like she immediately get that. So on set, most of my effort was like adjusting other actors because she knows completely what she's doing. Yeah, it was really nice for me to be able to work with her again, because she just like grew up a lot. Yeah.
Before I throw to the audience, I want to talk about the music. I became addicted to the soundtrack. I love the score and the decision to use this musical genre. I discovered Joanna Wang's music as well. Can you talk a little bit about the soundtrack?
Yeah, and before the actual production, we actually made a proof of concept video like 3 or 4 years ago. And at that time, I already decided that we are going to use big band jazz music, especially with the ska rhythm. Yeah, so that was kind of like it was decided at that time. But it was really hard for Taiwan to record like a whole big band all together. That was the original idea. So in the end, we still separated different kind of instruments. But I was like really glad we were able to use this kind of music for Taiwanese production, because for most of the Taiwanese films, music usually needs to be more melodramatic for the local audience to understand the emotion. So when we were trying something else, it was kind of like a little bit risky for a domestic market, but we did it anyway. Yeah. And the theme song is also called Dead Talent Society. It's by Joanna Wang. She was like she's a super talented Taiwanese singer, and she made 2 versions of the song. One is in Mandarin, which is what you heard in the end credits. The other one is when the girl was like running, chasing those influencers. Yeah, those 2 versions of songs was like God sent to us, because I remember when we are making the music for the chasing scene, the final chasing scene. Originally, we didn't think of we can put the theme song on it. We were like still trying to make different segment of music and try to see if it fit, but we didn't get anything that's good enough. Suddenly, the composer was like joking about, why don't you just put Joanna's song there, see what's gonna happen? I was like, it's impossible, because we have to edit her song like in so many different places. But we tried it anyway. We put it on the timeline and see how it goes, and we pressed play. After 3 minutes, we were shocked. We were stunned, because we didn't change a thing, and it was just perfectly fit the scene. So we were like
That's one of my favorites. That run is so cathartic and so fun to watch. It reminds me a bit of a Midnight Madness award winner, Why Don't You Play in Hell, the ending of that film. Was that an inspiration at all? Because that's also a movie about a group of people that are like filmmakers doing a ridiculous production.
Yeah, that's one thing. I think the inspiration for that climax is coming from a lot of different movies. One of them is Little Miss Sunshine. Yeah, if you can understand that the similarity is there, it's like they no longer care about if they're gonna win or lose, if they're gonna success or if they're gonna get any kind of recognition from other people. They just want to do it. Yeah, it's the joy of doing that thing.
Yeah, it's not, and if it's not, and
Yeah,
if you love to do it, then it's not work anymore.
Yes.
All right, questions from the